Welcome back to another great episode of the Vision Lab podcast in partnership with Next One Creative. I'm your host, Ryan Cuffey, alongside my co-host, Mr. Ryan Mosley. The Vision Lab is the official growth mindset podcast for all visionaries worldwide, showing mad love to the cigar community. It's here in the lab where we focus on growth and exploring the developmental path of people's visions and dreams and how those dreams come into reality. Folks, it's all about tapping into and becoming the best versions of ourselves through self-discovery, self-examination, and self-actualization. Yo, I'm super excited about today, beginning of 2021. We're talking health, we're talking fitness, we're talking how to get in shape and how to lose those pounds. Yo, Mo, who do we have in the lab?
Cuff, today's guest is a native of Nigeria. She is a fitness professional, a yoga instructor, and a businesswoman. Please welcome Alexandra Iseghohi, better known as Bodied by Alexa, to the Vision Lab podcast.
Hey, what
Good
it
evening.
do?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for jumping into the lab. We're absolutely excited. You got a hell of a story, and I want people to know about it. So we're big ups to you. Thanks so much for jumping into the lab.
I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. So let's just get on into it.
By all means, sir.
Bodied by Alexa. First of all, let's go all the way back, okay? So you are a twin,
Yes.
right? You have a twin sister who's a couple minutes older than you. Tell us about the dynamic between the two of you, because as we look at you today, I'm sure people are wondering, like, what are they talking about? I want to get into that story, but I want to go all the way back to the beginning on some of the things that you felt and experienced growing up and the differences.
I mean, growing up, I was the bigger one, so, people just referring to you as the fat one all the time without even wanting to know your name. And they're like, hey, yeah, I think I know those two people. Yeah, that's the fat one over there, and she was, she was my really great support system. Like, she would always call me to a side and be like, hey, like, don't let that get to you. Like, people can talk, but you are you and you're beautiful. Like, the whole time she would always tell me, oh, you don't have to do anything about your weight. You look amazing. You look this, you look that. But I feel like growing up, she helped me feel more confident in myself in a sense, and not having to, let the haters get to my emotions and all of that. So
Now, growing up as a younger child, right? Like, how did you cope with that? Obviously, you had your sister as a bedrock.
Yeah.
But what were some of the feelings that you felt hearing, like, hey, that's the fat one or whatever?
I mean, my emotions were crushed. I would, get on a diet. I've been on so many diets, I would be like, oh, I need to shed some weight. I need to do this. I need to do that. I would go running. I would do everything. But the thing was, I just couldn't commit to anything at all. It's like I would be in that phase for a couple days, and then I'm back to my old habits. And then I'm back to people, referring to me in a certain way and just, calling me fat. So, yeah, it was something that I struggled with. And it didn't make me feel good. It was at the back of my mind every day that I just knew that I wanted to look and feel my best.
So, Bodied by Alexa, you got an amazing Instagram page, and it's got a lot of movements, a lot of yoga, and we're going to get into that later. But what I'd like for you to do is kind of talk to our visionaries, someone that may be, looking at, hey, we're at the beginning of 2021, I want to get in shape, but they've struggled with the commitment to the proper diet, right? The ability to work out on a consistent basis. What were some of the things that you did to get over that hurdle?
Honestly, you're just going to want the result more than you just want to sit on your butt. So I got to that point, I would give excuses. I would say it's this, it's my genes, it's my that, it's my whatever. I'm just like, I knew that I wanted something. I wanted a certain outcome, and I can't get it if I keep sitting on my butt. So I had to get off my butt. I'm like, start small. I started walking and started doing all of those little things here and there that I wouldn't be able to do. I'm like little commitments. You just have to stay committed, no matter how little it is. I started with walking, and as little as walking was, I could only do 2,000 steps without feeling like I was dying.
Right.
So yeah, just be committed to whatever it is that you want to use as a tool to get started.
You're talking about commitment, and before you made that commitment to yourself internally, there was a certain point where you said, "Okay, enough's enough." So we call it a rock bottom moment. Like, what
Yeah.
was your lowest moment where you said, "Okay, enough's enough, Alexa. I got to do something."
So here's the thing. I got on this diet where I was drinking shakes for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, the shakes are so good. They taste so good. And I went to my friend's spot one day, and she had a scale. I hadn't been on a scale in so long. And I know that prior to getting on those shakes, that I was about 180 or so. And then I got on the scale. I was way over 200 pounds. And I'm like, what the fuck? My whole life, or, during that time, I'm like, I'm losing weight. But no, you're not losing weight. You're gaining weight. And that 200 mark blew my mind. That was an it for me. I'm like, it's going to go from 200 to 250 to 300 pounds. And God knows, I'll probably just end up in, the 600-pound life. And I'm like, no. The 200 was my rock bottom. The moment I saw that number, it's like inside of my brain was exploding with smoke. And in that moment, the only thing I wanted to do was to drop those numbers by any means possible.
So you realize the shakes weren't working. What's the first dietary change you made? Besides cutting the shakes out, obviously.
I went like super cold turkey. I took everything out. That wasn't sustainable though. I just flushed every single thing that I had in the house. I was like, you know what, we're going to do greens. Everything green. I was chewing a carrot. I was doing this. It was so unrealistic up until I got into knowing that, turning this into a lifestyle is not about chewing a carrot and feeling like I hate what I'm having to put in my mouth. So I got up to the point where, I would do a protein and the side of a veggie. It was more enjoyable for me because I love chicken. So yeah, we got into eating more consistently like that.
And I'm sure a lot of visionaries that are tuning in want to know, what was the highest that you got to? Obviously, you had the shakes and you crossed the 200 threshold. What was the highest you got to?
I was 202.8 pounds.
And that was the day you said, that's it.
That was it. That was the it for me.
You talked about like a lot of, like you said, fad diets and trends and things like that. When you see those pop up now on social media, given the journey that you've been on to get to where you are now, what's the first thought that comes to your mind?
I just laugh. Honestly, I'm like, it's all BS. It's weight loss is very simple. It's calories in, calories out. There's so many words and names. I'm not trying to bash anybody's, business or whatever, but it's like, there's always some thing, oh, you're going to do this and you're going to lose weight. There's so many diets. And the truth is, not up until you're in a calorie deficit on a consistent basis, you're not going to lose any weight. No matter what you do, no matter what diet approach you take, it's just not going to happen. So you have to actually commit to yourself and say, I'm going to do this. I was popping pills. My sister was helping me, and she was like, this is insane. Like, why are you drinking pills? I was a huge Whataburger fan. So I would eat a big fat Whataburger, and then I'll take those pills, and in my head, I'm like, once I take those pills, like, the fat is just going to, come out of me somehow. But it just didn't, because I wasn't being consistent with, seeing through the journey to get to where I want to be. So my point is, you have to not listen to so many diets out there. You just have to be committed to yourself and take your journey seriously. That's all you really need.
So we're a growth mindset podcast, and I've heard you drop several keywords: consistent or consistency, commitment. Talk to us about what those two words in particular mean to you.
It means, I would say, dedication. Consistency and commitment, they're very hard. I still struggle with it. I'm not this person every day. It's something you have to struggle with. Because being consistent, it's very hard because, it's so hard for your brain to feel like you can do something for a long time. You either get bored or you get tired or you just want to fall back to who you've been for years. Like, starting this lifestyle and overall how I used to eat is definitely new. It's still new for me. So learning to accept that this is my new normal is hard. And I understand that so many people struggle with it. Like, you can only go so much without feeling like, I need to fall back and just enjoy myself. But here's the thing. I was talking to one of my other sisters the other day, and she was like, you know what? Every time she has to go on a vacation, she just feels like, oh my God, it's like this freedom. I can eat and do whatever I want. You know, when I get back home, I can, start my diet all over again. So I want people to know that being consistent is not about feeling like, you're depriving yourself and you need to take breaks. It's just about seeing your relationship with food a certain way and knowing that you can enjoy yourself and not necessarily deprive yourself from what you want, but just don't overeat. It'll feel like you need that amount of calories to feel comfort from whatever you're going through.
Did you have comfort foods that you consistently turned to?
I did.
What were they?
I know Whataburger was one of them.
They weren't pretty. No, Whataburger was the first one for sure, and then pizzas were another thing. Oh my God, and then fried chicken. Those three things, baby. That is so me. And, I love those so much. I would eat them every night. That was literally my lifestyle. I would eat out like every day. So, yeah.
What's your biggest internal struggle now?
That's a tricky one.
Because we're going to get into like the nuts and bolts of the transition you made and how you are now, right? But
yeah.
I'm just wondering, what is your biggest internal struggle? Like you said, it's not something that I'm sure there are days you're like, man, I just got to have this to eat. So what's the biggest internal fight that Alexa has with herself?
I feel like making do with the resources that I have has been a struggle with my consistency. Because, I'm out and around most of the time and, friends and feeling the need to indulge. So that's something I struggle with. It's like when I was on my journey, I cut out, family dinners and all those things just because at the time I thought that, enjoying those things will hinder my progress. So now, having a social life and friends and, coming from a large family, that's a big struggle for me. It's like, it's always on my mind. I don't want to let myself go. Letting myself go is actually one of my biggest fears that I'm still struggling with,
You kind of talked about, commitment and consistency, being able to stick to your regimen, and we've heard about your journey. But what was your journey? Like, I know that we're kind of a couple minutes into the episode here, but let the visionaries know what your journey was.
I just wanted to look good and feel my best. It wasn't about numbers. It wasn't about, becoming the smallest I've ever been. I just wanted to feel and look my best.
And you mentioned earlier about your sister and how she was a bedrock and a support system.
Yeah.
How important is it to have a strong support system helping you to achieve the goals that you set out for yourself?
It's very important because here's the thing. You have friends and family that don't believe in you. I remember, I'm not going to call names, but I remember someone that was really dear to me that said, hey, you know what, just give it up. You've been saying this for years, whatever, But she was the one person that was there the whole time. Wow. Sometimes she would go with me to the gym. She would give me massages when my muscles are sore or whatever. So she was my biggest reason. I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to let up because she's here. And she's giving me And she's giving me all of the support that I need. And in that moment, the only thing I felt like I needed to make her proud. She was there the whole time. She was there. And she's the only person out of everybody else that would, they'll just look down on you or tell you, yeah, whatever, you can't do that. She's the only person that has been there. She's like my backbone.
Absolutely love that.
Allow me to let Alexa get herself together right quick.
yeah, it's emotional. It's a journey.
It came out left field right quick. Y'all came here so cool. Next thing you know, we got tears in here. Allow me to say thank you to somebody who helps us and who stood behind us from Jump Street, and that is Edwina Brown and family at Blowing Smoke Cigar Lounge.
What up, BB?
The address is 215 West Camp Wisdom Road. Visionaries, if you're anywhere in the southern part of the Metroplex, make sure you get to Blowing Smoke Cigar Lounge.
Absolutely. So, you've gone through the journey. You had your sister as your biggest cheerleader, your biggest supporter. When a visionary says, "Okay, I'm going to start my journey. I'm going to take my first step in my journey," what are some of the things that they can instantly do to start to ratify and change their lifestyles?
It's the little things, honestly. It's just those little things like walking, like, drinking more water, like, refusing to just get right get up from the bed and you're like going ham on food. Just those little tiny tweaks here and there. Just being a little more active than you usually would. If you're the type of person that's, your job is to sit down and stare at a computer all day. Like in between that, just get up and take, a brisk walk back and forth. And those little things go a long way.
So you said it starts with, like you said, you went 2,000 steps and then, you progressed and progressed. Right? When did you feel like, you know what, I've made a lifestyle change versus just like a fad diet or tummy tea or all the other different things that are out there? When did you know for a fact, like, I'm solid in this lifestyle change that I've made?
It occurred to me that it was, I think, 6 months into my journey. It just dawned on me. I was like, oh my God. Because I went to the gym and there was this lady that was there and she was like, oh my God, girl, don't you do anything else? You're always here. It hit me in that moment. I'm like, shoot, I'm always here. I'm always coming. And this is something I've never done in my entire life. It's like my longest mark is 2 weeks. Once I hit the 2 weeks mark, I'm done. But it was like 6 months in, and I'm like, wow, I'm really proud of myself. I have been coming, even though most of the time I didn't want to, come.
Now, were you one of those people, before you made your journey and your transition, were you one of those people that just went to the gym to kind of fool around on some machines and then leave? Or did you put in that work beforehand?
I'm not going to lie. My first week going to the gym, it was a total wreck. My first day, I just sat there. I was crying. I was intimidated. Like, these machines are so huge. I got on the treadmill. It really knocked me off. I almost broke my skull.
You didn't fall,
at some
did you?
point. I did fall.
You fell on the treadmill. You were
Yes,
that
I
person.
did. I was one of those people. Yeah, it was really intimidating for me. I didn't have a coach. I didn't have, personal trainer. I didn't have anybody. And at the time, I started with the gym in my apartment. So you know how it is. There's no one there most of the time, and I just
you versus you
started building that confidence up too.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because that was something that I'm sure somebody's wondering. Like, hey, I'm out of shape. I'm overweight, and I don't want to go to the gym because I don't want to be judged. I don't want somebody looking at me and saying, "Oh, look at that fat person.
Yeah.
They're just wasting their time and their money." But can you give some words of encouragement to those people that are, like I said, that are on the cusp of taking that first step and actually making that transition and changing their life and going to the gym?
Yeah, I feel like people will judge you at every point. I'm like, why judge a person you find in the gym that looks overweight, right? She's there or he's there to better himself or herself. So I just feel like it's you versus you, really. Just go in there. Don't care about who's staring at you. Don't go in there to look all pretty for whoever you feel could be watching. Just go in there with the sole purpose of, wanting to better yourself.
Yeah, and I honestly think, too, that not as many people are paying as much attention to you as you really think they are.
Yeah.
Right? I think a lot of people, especially at the gym, are
focused on what they got going on.
focused on what they got to get going, whether that's, beefing up, losing weight, whatever, maintaining. I think people a lot of times are locked in, and that's one of the things I wanted to encourage, not to discredit or dismiss that body shaming doesn't happen, but a lot of times it's more in your head. It's more in your imagination that you think eyes are on you, and they're really not.
Yeah.
So you talked about being in the gym, doing the elliptical and things like that. Now you're avid. You're blowing it out the water. You're there all the time.
You're 6 months in
You're
now.
6 months
now
in.
you've made the switch.
Yeah.
You're seeing the results. What level of confidence did that start? How did that boost you up in terms of your confidence?
I started feeling more comfortable taking pictures. That was a big thing for me. Like, if I'm taking a picture, there has to be someone, because I'm trying to, put half of myself into that person's body just so I can look smaller, So I felt that, taking pictures, I feel, I just feel really good now. I look at myself in pictures, and I don't see some weird image that I used to see in the mirror that I used to hate. Now I see someone that, that looks beautiful. I start telling myself that I am beautiful, so that really boosted my confidence. I'm like, you know what? I'm comfortable here. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to being that person.
How do you avoid the trap of getting comfortable and not continuing to push the ball forward? Because it's a certain, like you said, you're comfortable, so it's like, okay, this is what I am now. But you also have this internal thing of never going back to where you were. So how do you still maintain that edge, if you will, to keep pushing?
chasing
I'm a
that carrot.
Scorpio, so it's like we're go-getters. We never just are okay with being stuck in a place. I like that I've got into a place that I'm comfortable, but it still pushes me to learn new things, gain new skills, and push myself and have different goals. Like my goals have been changing. So before, when I started, I just wanted to lose weight, and then it got to the point where I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I need some muscle in me. I need to be able to kick some balls and whatever. So, so I got
Let me slide over
Right?
here.
I got into strength training, and then I'm like, what the hell? I had a huge fear for heights, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna practice inversions. What's the worst that can happen? I'll probably fall, right? So yeah, I just always want to keep pushing myself and gaining new strengths and feeling powerful and feeling strong.
So you're now strong. You're now confident. We'll talk about it here in a little bit about Bodied by Alexa here in a second. But overcoming and starting to jump into new machines and new exercises. A lot of people that are listening are saying, "Well, I don't know how to do all these different inversions and different types of exercise, yoga poses, but like techniques. Like they don't know the first thing to do when it comes to the gym." What is your words to them on how to advance with your weight loss journey?
First of all, it's about if you want it. Some people don't always want certain things, and that's fine. That's okay. But if you want something, then really look into it. You have your phone, which is the best tool to get on Google and figure out things that you need to learn about. If you need to hire a professional, there's that. But if you don't have, the resources to hire a professional, then you can just, DIY and practice by yourself. I started with that. Like, all I did was have my phone, go on YouTube, and I'm like, that looks pretty cool. I'm going to try it and try it and try it.
So are you at the gym and you're looking at the bench and you're like, okay, let me type in YouTube. Okay, here's how you bench press. Okay, I got it. And then you would do it?
Absolutely.
I love that.
My first push-up was a hot mess. I just felt, bam, into the floor. And I'm like, this isn't right. No, this isn't right. So I put up YouTube and I'm seeing people like, okay, all right. Well, maybe I need to put my hand like this, or I need to have a better form. You just have to keep trying up until you get it right.
What are your favorite exercises to do now that you actually got your feet underneath you?
It's actually the push-up. It's like my favorite thing. I absolutely love it. It's like it works my entire body, and I just love the feeling I get.
How many can you do?
Well, I can boast of 30 straight. We're still getting there. We're still getting there.
Listen, there's a lot of men right now that can't do 10. So.
Oh my God! But that's like a huge growth for me. I couldn't do one without landing face on the floor.
Really?
Should we have a push-up challenge real quick?
We can do that.
Oh,
Yeah, you brought
call
it
it
up.
to the carpet.
You brought it up.
No, that's amazing. Now, I want to start to transition into Bodied by Alexa.
Yeah.
But before we do, let's give a big shout out to the good folks over at Class A.
Oh, absolutely. Crystal and Tim, thank you guys so much. Visionaries. They are the official vodka of the show. If you have not had a chance to get your hands on a glass of Class A vodka, the slogan is class in every glass. We promise you it will change your life. You will put down everything else that you're drinking when it comes to vodka. The Instagram handle is at Class A_vodka. That's Class A with a K. Send them a DM. They'll make sure you're taken care of. Again, it's Class A vodka. Class in every glass. Get your hands on the bottle ASAP.
Big shout out to Class A, Tim, Crystal. We love y'all. Thank y'all so much for your support, like Mo said. Man, we took a quick little break and did a fun little challenge. It wasn't even really a challenge, was it?
Yeah.
It was. We got a little exercise and we got our push-ups.
Expression of fitness.
Yeah.
Some expression.
Hey, and let me tell y'all, Bodied by Alexa did it. No problem. Wasn't even huffing or puffing. Made it look way too easy. So we did 20 push-ups each.
Yeah.
She crushed me, y'all. She actually did the damn thing, for real. So I want to transition into, obviously we talked about your journey, the emotional impact, the support that you've had from your sister. But at some point, right, you become consistent and you've lost the weight, the confidence is there. You then go, and I'm not sure the order, but maybe you could tell us, at what point did you start to get inspired to share your story? Which is how ultimately we got here. Because, I saw the before and the after, right? And it's an amazing transition, and we'll post that on Instagram as well. But when did it kind of kick in like, yo, I want to share my story with others?
I never got to that point, I'll be honest. My sister helped me get to that point, I was scared, all of those photos, I never wanted anyone to see daylight of it. They were shameful to me. But she was like, no, like, these are not shameful. These are pictures that people want to see, and people would, use them as a push to want to get started on their journeys. So she was that inspiration. Yeah, she made it happen. She was like, make this post. I was dying. Literally, I was cringing like this. And she made me make the post, yeah.
That's awesome. And so you make the post, and then what was the response that you garnered after it was out?
My mind was blown. These are people that are inboxing me and saying all of these things, and I'm like, what's going on? It's me. It's just me, okay? Like, yeah, I was mind blown that people had these many struggles. I thought that for the longest time, I felt like this was just me. I had so many people that didn't have all of the struggles, and I was the only one struggling. It was just a thing in my head. And seeing that so many people had these same struggles and wanted to be better, like, that was a good push to be consistent. And, I kept posting. I mean, they were here.
For sure. And I just think that it's amazing to document that journey. And to your point, there's a lot of people, and we all know this, right? Like, we cognitively, we know it, that people are struggling with weight and weight loss and weight gain, for that matter, because there's the other end of the spectrum where people can't put on weight too. So I don't want to forget about those folks. But I think that when we share our stories, right, we impact other people. And that's really what this is all about. We wanted to put the spotlight on you because you are one of millions of people that have triumphed and overcome their weight challenges, whether it's weight gain or weight loss. And it's important for whenever you do reach that goal that you share that story. So I appreciate you doing that.
Thank you.
I'm curious, with you starting to share your journey on social media, has social media helped to hold you accountable? Because
that's a good question.
What I'm thinking about is listening to you talk. It's like, all right, she's got a great story. Like, she's made this change. And like you said, your sister pushed you to share it, right? But you're kind of in a position now, you got a business, and we're going to talk about that. You can't really afford to fall off the wagon anymore, can you?
It is tough.
Accountability.
Yeah, like you got thousands of accountability partners all of a sudden because your sister decided to post some pictures of you.
Right, and it's hard, actually. That's another part that, people don't talk about as trainers. Like, it's so hard that it actually pushes you into super bad habits because you're getting obsessive because you have all these eyes that are looking at you, and you're like, you know what, I can slip. I can slip. I can afford to slip. And then you're pushing yourself way harder than your body can go. And, like I said, there's always been a big sense of, what's that word? Like, she pulls me back to order all the time. And she's like, you're becoming really obsessive. Like, is this really you anymore? Are you really doing this because you want to do this? Or you're just so, obsessed with having this image to always deliver to people? There were times that I would be going at it on the treadmill, and it's literally spiking to get off. But I'm like, no, I'm on this challenge. I have to do this. And, your body needs a break. So yeah, social media does give you the push to be accountable, but at the same time, these are the sides that people will talk about, that it can be obsessive.
And that's actually a great question and a great point. And so I'm curious to know, how do you balance inspiring people versus looking at your image too much? And not you as a physical image, but your image in terms of what your followers expect of you.
I feel like you just have to keep remembering your why. You started because of something, and you shouldn't lose vision of why you started, because so many people have expectations of who you should be. I feel like you only get to write the expectations for yourself. And remembering why you have to do certain things that you do should be very important to you. And not letting, the outside world dictate what you should be doing.
So, Bodied by Alexa. When did this turn into a business?
Huh. Well, I've always been a business gal, so it's just something that I was like, okay, well, this really is my passion. I enjoyed what I was doing. I wanted to help other people, become more confident in themselves. So yeah, at that point, it just hit me. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm totally going to do this.
So what does that look like? Like, let's talk about Bodied by Alexa. Like, what is that for our visionaries that are tuning in on YouTube? And by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. But what does that look like in terms of your business? Like, what is it?
You have to provide, the tools that people need. That was something that I really wish that I had when I started. I felt like I didn't have anybody at all to point me in the right direction. So I feel like you can do this by yourself, while in a sense you may not need a personal trainer to be physically there to just push you. As long as you have an outline of what to do and what to expect every day. I feel like if you really want to do something and you have the tools to do it, then what else do you need?
So you're a certified personal trainer that
Yes.
that leverages social media and has clients all over, right?
Yeah.
Are you also doing any type of dietary plans?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Mostly for people that need to gain weight. It's so weird that a lot of people actually have that problem. And I never used to see it. I'm like, what? I am struggling to lose a pound. What do you mean? Like, you want to gain weight? Well, I know it's a real thing because my sister struggled with it, and she used one of my plans as well. And she gained the healthy weight that she wanted to gain.
What's the website?
Bodybyalexa.com.
Gotcha. Before we turn these mics on, you said you also have an app. Can you talk to us about that?
Okay, well, I can't really say too much because it hasn't launched yet, but it's like having a calendar, so you know what to do every day, like the workouts that I do and things that helped me get to the point that I am. So you kind of just have that, very easy to access on your phone, and you just know what to do on a daily basis.
You've made this amazing transition. Like Cuff said, we'll post some of the before and after pictures as this episode rolls out. What doors have you seen open since you've taken this road?
So many. It's like my life has never been this easy before. I kid you not. It's just like I felt like God just wanted me to, walk in my purpose, and that's just what I'm doing. And He has been very trusting. It's like I trust Him with everything now. I just sit back and He makes all of these things happen for me easily. And yeah, so many doors have opened that I didn't think could ever open for me. In your head, you always limit yourself to being this little person, and you just don't expect that certain things can come your way, and they have happened.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So I want to enroll in your class, or I want you to be my trainer. What are they going to get from you?
They're going to get what to eat as an outline, when to snack. I mean, pretty much a general analysis of how to make it convenient in your life, like times to eat, the important things that you like to eat. My plans are never going to shove down your throat what you don't like. It's part of the questions you would get before you get started with me. So you get things like, when is your lunch break? So it's convenient for you. Do you know how to cook? Can you meal prep your meals? Those kind of things. So whatever it is, my job is to make it as easy as possible for you to do it and just get on it and be consistent with it.
Before we move to the next phase, can I say thank you to a group that supports us?
Major group.
Absolutely. That is the good folks at Dallas Leaf LLC. Visionaries, if you need anything done, whether it is cigars, which my favorite, the Bishop, cigars, charitable organizations, entertainment, Whatever it is that you need under the sun, get with the good folks of Dallas Leaf LLC. The Instagram page is at Dallas Leaf LLC, or you can get to the website dallasleafllc.com.
A full conglomerate.
Full conglomerate.
One of the things that I love about Dallas Leaf is that they support. And their hashtag is support is free. And they show up in droves, and they're all about supporting everybody. Obviously, giving a lot of special attention to the cigar community. So big ups to Dallas Leaf LLC. Thanks for all you do.
So, I'm a new customer for Bodied by Alexa. I get some semblance of a meal plan. You've also got your hand in yoga as well. Do I get yoga instructions from you or yoga lessons from you?
I mean, you could if that's what you want. Yeah.
Got you. So how long have you been doing yoga, and how long have you been certified in?
About a year. I just celebrated my 1-year anniversary. So that's to say that as long as you want something, you can grow, much more than even your teacher would expect you to grow.
So now that we're in the yoga part,
Here we go.
let's talk about some of these yoga stretches and poses that you do. These inverted, standing on your head, splits in the air, figure fours. What?
Oh my God, it's not that bad.
I'm looking at these like, okay. How did you get to that range of motion or that flexibility? Because that's got to be like there's beginner, there's intermediate, there's advanced, and then there's super advanced. I'm sure you're in the super advanced.
No, I'm not. No, I am so not. I feel like I am still learning. Obviously, I mean, that's what life is about.
Right.
You have to keep learning every day. But, stretching is very important, mostly either before or after your workout. It's very important, and that's something that I would always do. So I realized I was gaining more range of motion. Mm-hmm. And prior to that, as a teen, that was something that I used to do. So I do have a little bit of past background in it. But that's to say that you just have to keep, you want to do something, you just have to keep going at it.
So I love stretching.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at it now because I haven't stretched. And now, not that it's painful or anything like that, but it's cumbersome.
Yeah.
Right? So how long does it take to kind of transition to really start to loosen, your muscles and get
Joints
stretched
and all
out?
that.
Yeah, I don't think it has any time limit because I feel like different people just experience things differently. As long as you're consistently stretching, most definitely your ability to do certain things would be, far more advanced than an average person that doesn't stretch. So yeah, that really helped, the stretching part. But the inversions are very tricky. My first inversion as well, I fell.
Well, you got
on my
to
face.
for those that are tuning in and that are not familiar with an inversion. Will you please describe what an inversion is?
It's literally just putting yourself in an inverted position, like
Which means your head is where?
on the floor,
Okay.
and your legs are up in the air, like pointing towards the skies, I guess.
How many times a week do you find yourself in that position?
A lot these days. Yes, a lot more.
Gotcha.
Now, what I do know about yoga, and I was super excited because I was telling Mo about, hey, we need to get a yoga instructor, a yogi, as you guys like to call yourselves, here into the lab. Talk about how it centers you spiritually as it relates to yoga.
It does because it makes you very patient. So it really just forces you to, to like lock out, the stress and the sounds and, all of the crazy that's going on out there. Mm-hmm. It forces you to be in tune with yourself. And, you really need to have this mind-to-body connection to be able to do, any of the poses, really. Because it's frustrating, you have to bend and twist yourself a certain way, and you need a lot of focus and concentration to do it. So in that moment, you don't care about anything going on around you. You just want to, it's just like you, yourself, and yourself. It's just you and your mat and, getting into those poses. So, yeah. It forces you to be very patient because you need patience to get through it.
So you've got an audience now, right? and you started, sharing photos of your before and after, if you will.
Yeah.
What's kind of the long-term vision? What do you ultimately want this to turn into?
I want this to turn into my future, really, in a sense. I want to incorporate so many other things. I want to make so much out of this. I want people to know that it's a journey. You have to start from somewhere, and you don't have to get stuck, or you don't have to feel stuck. There's always a next phase, and believe it or not, you can be prepared for the next phase. Starting with one transformation photo, I didn't see my life here at all, and all of that just came along the way. So understanding that it's a journey, and you keep experiencing new things, gaining new knowledge, or having new strengths. You can be anything from this.
Speaking of some of the things that new things, you've got something that recently started a couple weeks back.
Yes.
It's a camp, right?
No.
The training program?
Oh yeah, it's online. It's not a camp.
Okay, so it's a training program. What's the training program about?
It's just all about flexibility. It's like a guide that, the right stretches, the right things to be doing. I feel like a lot of people just want to do too much, but it's the little things, little easy poses like cat and cow pose or whatever, like those little things to gain flexibility and, spin with it, do whatever you want to do, from there.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's about that time, P.
Yeah, it is time to land the plane.
This
segment is brought to you by Grand Brulot, the good folks at Grand Brulot. Jameson, Francisco, the owner, thank you guys so much. We definitely appreciate it. We look forward to big things in 2021 with you guys. You say you're ready, right?
I'm ready.
Yes.
Please get Alexa a cup.
We got.
Oh, here we go. All right here. Here we go. All right. And for you. There we go. All right.
Can I get?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, there we
yes,
go.
you sir. Yes, you can, sir. For the lady first.
Thank you.
Say when.
When?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah, that's good for her.
All right.
That's
This
good.
is like nothing you've ever tasted. I'm telling you right now, but you're going to enjoy it.
All right, I'm good.
There you go, sir. So,
Well, hold on.
yeah, I know.
We got a cheers.
I'm not going to jump the gun.
Yes.
Cheers to health and wealth.
Health and wealth.
Health and wealth. I
So.
like to smell it before I drink it.
Yeah, we want to get your honest. Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, all right.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I like it.
Thank you.
I was gonna. I
We'll
should
tell
have
the
told
owner.
you. You probably want to sip on that.
Okay.
Yeah. But she went in. I love it.
So,
Absolutely.
we call this landing plane as we start to wrap the show up, right? One of the questions we ask everyone on the show. It is you at a table similar to this. There are 5 other seats. You get to have whoever you want at your table. The only caveat is that it can't be, whatever higher power you believe in, but they can be dead or alive. Who do you want your table?
My twin.
The
Better
boss.
After
The
all
boss.
Shout out to Angelica on the back side of the room.
the Brit.
Yeah. You guys claim to be from Nigeria, but she sounds like she's straight out of Britain.
Oh my god.
There's one.
How many do I need to have?
You get
Yeah,
4
5,
more.
Yeah, 5 in
Okay.
total. So you got your sister.
Yeah. I will want both of you on my table.
Listen to that. That's the first time we've ever heard that.
I'm telling
Yeah. You guys are chill people. So I want both of you on my table, and then I want a best friend.
you. A best friend. Let's say what's on that. So that's 3.
You got one
That's
more.
You got one
You got
more.
one more.
That's 4.
You got one more.
Yeah, you get one more.
Oh,
That's
5?
You and
Yeah.
5 other people. So you got
Okay,
one more.
okay.
6 total.
Hmm.
I'm happy to be at the table.
I know. I've never. Thank you.
Yeah, almost
We
100
never
episodes. You're the first person that says
Yeah.
that you want us at the
We've
table.
never been
Thank you very
invited.
much. Cheers to that.
Cheers to
again.
that.
well, I don't have a
It
drink.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can have that one. There you go. Never been invited, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Okay.
touching.
One more.
I am going to have my brother at the table.
What's your brother? Your brother's name
And
is Ryan too.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have 3 Ryans at the table.
Small
Oh yeah,
world.
3 vines.
Small
Yes.
world.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ryan, your brother.
Amen. Amen. So First of all, thank you so much for jumping into the lab. We had an amazing time. This has been awesome. How can our visionaries get a hold of you if they want to follow your journey, subscribe to your not only your Instagram, but also become a client of yours?
You can follow me on Instagram or check out my website
And what's the website?
bodyedbyalexa.com.
And then the Instagram handle?
Bodied by Alexa.
Bodied by Alexa. And that's Bodied.
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 Yeah.
Yes. We may have already asked this, but I got to know, why the name Bodied by Alexa? I know your sister came up with it, but why the
Yeah.
name Bodied?
It just makes sense. I mean, if you want to, body yourself in confidence and in beauty and in strength and everything, then
I hear strength in that, like,
yeah,
body.
yeah, you can body that.
Yeah.
You can body anything, So
I love it. I love it. So, we talked about the long-term vision, but I've got to ask you, if we could roll back the clock 5 years from now, right? 5 years ago, what would today's version of yourself, what advice would they be giving you from 5 years ago?
I would be somewhere clueless, I guess, working a very stressful job and eating more Whataburgers, probably.
But what advice would you be telling yourself not to do?
Then or now?
Then, from back then.
I would be telling myself to do what I have to do to feel better about myself. Yeah, I would have told myself that.
Okay. Now we're going to fast forward the clock 5 years from now. So you're going to be 5 years older.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the older version of yourself? What advice is she giving you today?
She would be telling me to reach for more and not feel stuck. And she would be telling me to focus on my passion. And she would be telling me to continue doing, what I love to do and continue helping people. That never gets old.
Love it. Love it. Well, listen, Bodied by Alexa, it's been absolutely a pleasure to have you into the lab.
My pleasure.
Love the journey. Love the story. Keep it up. Keep inspiring people. Remember, visionaries, all of our guests here in the lab are dropping nuggets of wisdom on the trail of life. Ultimately, it's up to you to pick them up.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Mosley. He is Ryan Cuffey. She is Bodied by Alexa. Alexa, thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much.
We will see you guys next week on another great episode of the Vision Lab Podcast.
Ooh.
Blessings.